Sometimes the loudest noise in our lives does not come from the world outside. It comes from the endless thoughts inside our own minds. We think more, worry more, fear more, and slowly forget how to truly live. Music, we carry regrets from the past and fears about the future until our hearts become tired and heavy. But what if peace is not something we need to find? What if peace is something that appears when the mind finally becomes still? Today's story may change the way you look at your thoughts forever. So stay with me till the end and discover the powerful lesson hidden inside this simple story. Long ago, near the edge of a quiet sea town, there lived a young fisherman named Ethan. He was 31 years old. Strong, hardworking, and respected by the villagers. Every morning before sunrise, Ethan took his small wooden boat into the sea. Every evening he returned with fresh fish for the market. From the outside, his life looked calm and stable. But inside, Ethan's mind was never silent. While rowing his boat, he worried about storms that had not yet come. While eating dinner, he replayed old mistakes from years ago. Before sleeping, he imagined disasters that might happen tomorrow. Even when the sea was peaceful, his thoughts created storms inside him. The strange thing was this: Ethan did not even realize how exhausted he had become. He believed constant thinking meant he was being responsible. He believed worrying about everything would somehow protect him from pain. But slowly, his thoughts began stealing the joy from his life. He stopped laughing with the other fishermen. He stopped enjoying sunsets over the ocean. Even when he caught a good amount of fish, his mind whispered, "What if tomorrow is bad?" His younger sister, Clara, noticed the change. One evening while they repaired fishing nets outside their home, she asked softly, "Ethan, when was the last time you truly rested?" Ethan sighed. "I rest every night." Clara shook her head gently. "No. Your body sleeps. But your mind never does." Those words stayed with him. A few days later, a powerful storm hit the sea. The winds roared through the village all night. Boats crashed against the shore. Rain flooded the streets. By morning, several fishermen had lost their nets and equipment. Ethan spent the entire day helping others repair the damage. By sunset, exhausted and soaked from rain, he wandered toward the far side of the beach where very few people ever went. There, sitting quietly beside an old lighthouse, was a man unlike anyone Ethan had ever seen. The old man wore simple gray clothes. His face was calm, almost glowing in the orange evening light. Beside him sat a small lantern, though the sun had not fully set yet. The man was simply watching the waves. Not talking. Not moving. Just watching. Ethan walked closer and asked, "Sir, what are you doing here alone?" The old man smiled faintly. "Listening." Ethan looked confused. Listening to what? The silence beneath the waves. Ethan frowned slightly. "The sea is loud tonight." The old man nodded. "Yes. The surface is loud. But deep below, the ocean remains still." Something about those words touched Ethan deeply. Without knowing why, he sat beside the stranger. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. At first, Ethan felt uncomfortable. His mind jumped from one thought to another. Storm damage. Tomorrow's work. Money. Repairs. The market. The future. Finally he asked, "How can you sit here doing nothing?" The old man turned toward him gently. "I am not doing nothing. I am being present." Ethan laughed quietly. "I don't understand." The old man picked up a stick and drew two circles in the sand. One large and messy. One small and clear. He pointed to the large circle. "This is the mind of most people. Full of noise, fear, regret, anger, endless thinking." Then he pointed to the small clear circle. "And this is the present moment. Tiny, peaceful, alive. But people ignore it because their minds are too crowded. Ethan stared silently at the drawing. The old man asked, "Tell me honestly. When was the last time you watched the sea without thinking about something else?" Ethan could not answer. The old man smiled kindly. "You do not live in this moment, son. You live in yesterday and tomorrow." That night, Ethan could not stop thinking about the strange old man. The next evening, he returned to the lighthouse. The old man was there again, watching the waves. This time Ethan sat beside him without speaking. After a while, the old man handed him a wooden cup filled with tea. "Drink this," he said. Ethan took a sip. Slowly, the old man whispered, "Taste it fully." Ethan tried. For the first time in years, he truly noticed the warmth of the cup in his hands. The smell of herbs. The sound of distant gulls. The cool wind touching his face. For one brief moment, his thoughts stopped. And in that tiny moment, he felt peace. Real peace. The old man looked at him carefully. "Did you feel it?" Ethan nodded slowly. "That peace was always here," the old man said softly. "Your thoughts were simply too loud to notice it." Over the next few weeks, Ethan visited the lighthouse every evening. The old man never gave long speeches. Instead, he taught simple lessons. One day he asked Ethan to carry a bucket filled with seawater across the beach without spilling it. As Ethan walked carefully, he noticed something surprising. While focusing completely on the bucket, his mind became quiet. When he returned, the old man smiled. The mind becomes peaceful when attention stays in the present. Another evening, the old man asked Ethan to sit silently for 10 minutes while watching the waves. At first Ethan's thoughts attacked him. Old memories. Future worries. Random fears. But every time he noticed his mind wandering, the old man quietly said, "Come back to the waves." Again and again. Slowly, Ethan began learning something powerful. Thoughts only controlled him when he followed them. He did not need to fight every thought. He did not need to believe every fear. He only needed to let them pass like clouds in the sky. Months passed. The villagers began noticing changes in Ethan. He smiled more often. He laughed again. He no longer panicked during difficult days at sea. One fisherman asked him, "What happened to you? You seem lighter somehow." Ethan answered softly, "I stopped carrying storms inside my head." But life was about to test him. One winter morning, a violent storm rose suddenly while several fishermen were still far from shore. Waves crashed wildly against the boats. Panic spread through the village. Many fishermen froze in fear. But Ethan stayed calm. He organized rescue ropes. Directed boats carefully. Helped frightened men return safely through the storm. While others panicked, Ethan focused only on one moment at a time. One rope. One wave. One boat. Hours later, every fisherman returned safely. The villagers praised Ethan for his courage. But Ethan knew the truth. The storm outside had not changed. What changed was the storm inside him. That evening he rushed to the lighthouse to thank the old man. But when he arrived, the place was empty. The lantern was gone. The chair was gone. Only the sound of the sea remained. On the ground lay a small seashell with a note beneath it. It said, "Peace was never in me. It was always inside you. You only needed silence to hear it." Ethan held the note tightly as tears filled his eyes. Years passed. Ethan eventually became one of the wisest men in the village. Young people often visited him when their minds felt heavy. And whenever someone asked him the secret to peace, Ethan would smile and say, "The ocean teaches us everything. The surface may be full of storms, but deep below, the water remains calm. Your mind is the same. Stop living only on the surface." Friends, this story carries a lesson many people forget today. Most suffering does not come from the present moment. It comes from our thoughts about the past and fears about the future. We carry mental weight every single day without realizing how tired it makes us. We replay old mistakes. We imagine future disasters. We hold on to anger, regret, and worry like heavy stones. But peace begins the moment we learn to put those stones down. An empty mind is not a dangerous thing. A peaceful mind is one of the greatest blessings in life. When you slow down, when you breathe deeply, when you fully experience this moment, you begin to notice beauty again. The sound of rain, the warmth of sunlight, the laughter of people you love, the quiet miracle of simply being alive. Ethan discovered that happiness was never hiding in the future. It was waiting inside the present moment all along. Maybe your mind also feels tired right now. Maybe you have been carrying too many thoughts for too long. If so, remember the sea. Storms may exist on the surface, but deep inside there is stillness. There is peace. There is silence waiting for you. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply stop chasing every thought and return to this moment. If this story touched your heart, take one quiet minute today just to breathe and be present. Share this story with someone whose mind feels heavy. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more meaningful stories and life lessons. Until next time, take care of your mind, and protect your peace.